It's so long. It's so long. But I'm very, very fun. So nice to see you.
Yeah, I have 2 minutes. It's all good.
My dad's like,
He was a good man. Noble. And like what I read about your dad, I'm very emotional in my life. Get like frustrated.
I'm going to leave it where it is. I'm just going to move it away from the exit. I'll bring it right back to you. You want just enough to fill this card. Just enough to fill one.
No. Less than that. One third.
Be right back.
And I would need an extra bottle of water.
Another bottle.
Yes. Thank you. Even before that, I've done soothing voice. Like his cousins to learn. Most powerful in all scriptures. Yes, I'm in these circumstances, so I'm sad. That's like this fire is okay to the top, but we have reached the primarily coconut.
What's that? Just want to see my senses. As long as the thing is not too big. It's not going to be a coconut.
Namaste everyone. I will recite, or we all recite Om Mantra 3 times to create an environment of tranquility, peace, devotion. That. Gayatri mantra is called Guru mantra. It's called Maha mantra. We call it Gayatri Ma. Who else can be a better teacher than your mother? And it says the Gayatri mantra is the gist of the Vedas and is the best mantra in all our Hindu scriptures. And if you look into the gist of this, the meaning of this, and the 2 lines are so powerful. And in my life, I was just mentioning, I have embraced Gayatri in my life for the last 70 years. When I was in 11 or 12 years of age, we were in Jalandhar, and a nice noble friend of my dad used to come. And he would just, say, come here, say Gayatri. And I would recite Gayatri and say, what does it mean? It means is that God, you make me happy, you take away my sorrows, and you make me smart. That was 70 years ago, and now when I look at into it, Tat Savitar Varenyam. God, you are my guide, you are my illuminator, you are my inspiration. Tat Savitar Varenyam. And I worship you, I meditate on you. And then the last word, Dhyo yo naha prachodaya. God, guide my intellect in the right direction. Guide me every day of my life. Anything I do in my life, guide my intellect in the right direction. Illuminate my intellect in the right direction. That is the gist of life. Whatever you do in life, in whatever domain, guide my intellect in the right direction. So with that, one more time, we will say Gayatri, and we will start our Havan prayer service. And following that, I will do some other special mantras, and initiation with me, ईश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थना विपासना। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्यावितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, पालन कर रहा है तू, तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम, दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तू। तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी स्थान, सृष्टि की वस्तु वस्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान। तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम, मांगते तेरी दया। ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। These are the 8 invocation mantras, 7 from Rituveda, 1 from Veda. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tannayasuva. Om Hiranya Garbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jata Patirekayasi Sadadhar Prithvim Yamute Mang Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. Om Ya Atmada Balada Yasya Vishwa Upasate Prashisham Yasya Deva Yasya Chaya Amritam Yasya Mrityu Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. Om Ya Pranato Nimishato Mahitvaika Idraja Jagato Vabhuva Yakamaste Juhumastanno Astu Vayam Syam Padayorayinam. Om Yenya Gaurubra Prithavi Chatrida Yena Swastavitam Yena Naka Yovantarikshe Rajaso Vimanaha Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. Om Prajapate Natvadetananyo Vishwajatani Paridababhuva Yatkamaste Juhumastanno Astu Vayam Syam Padayorayinam. Om Sano Bantur Janita Savidata Dhamani Veda Bhuvanani Vishwa Yatra Deva Amrita Manashana Sthitiye Dhamanya Dhairayanta. Om Agnenaya Supatha Raye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyo Jasmajuhu Rana Meno Bhu Ishtante Nama Uktim Vidhema. I will explain the meaning, very brief, again, the abstract of these mantras, and also during the Havan prayer for a few mantras which are significant. I'll explain the meaning of those. So these 8 mantras that we have just recited, the invocation mantras, he says, God, take away from us the bad habits and give us the qualities and virtues which are beneficial to us. God is the creator of sun and the moon and the stars. To that blissful God, we pray with faith and devotion. It is God who places soul in the body and giver of life and liberation. We pray with faith and devotion to that Almighty God. God is the creator of everyone and everything. To the blissful God, we pray with faith and devotion. God has created and sustained the sky, the earth, the stars, and the oceans. To that blissful God, we pray with faith and devotion. God, you are supreme. May you grant us both the material as well as the spiritual wealth. God is our friend and a creative Father. We call upon him to attain knowledge and liberation. O luminous God, lead us through the noble path of your devotion. We pay our salutation to you. Remove from us all vices and sins. And let's do the Achman and take water. Take this water in your right hand. And at the end of the mantra, you sip it and you do it 3 times on the 3 mantras. So first is Om Amrito Parsmasi Swaha. One more time. Om Amrita Pidhanmasi Swaha. One. Om Satyam Yasha Shrimai Shri Shatam Swaha. God, you are the protector of our life. Keep us under your protection all the time. And let us attain truth, glory, wisdom, material wealth. Not only material wealth, but spiritual wealth also. Spiritual wealth. And this we are praying for everybody. And now we'll take a little bit of water from that hand. And with these 2 fingers, mouth is one in the middle, and then the rest will be from right to left. Om Vangme Aseyastu. Om Nasorme Panamastu. Om Achorme Chachurastu. Om Tanyorme Shrodamastu. Om Bahorme Balamastu. Om Urvorme Ojoastu. Om Arishtani me Angani Tanasva. Me Sa Santu. What we are praying to God praise. Lord, let all my faculties be in perfect condition throughout my long life. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaradev Deva Bhuvana Prithavi Vavarrimna Tasyaste Prithavi Ideva Yajani Prishthe Agni Manna Damanna Yaya Dadhe. We have just light up this sacred fire in a Havan Kund, which is in direct contact with table to be swallowed. Where this Havan prayer has been being conducted for 3,004 years, the same way exactly we are here today. And we are praying in this beginning mantras that God inculcate in us habit to do more, inspire us to do more, and also, God, let our hearts be kind, vast, generous, and full of endurance. And let's have a long life by eating good, healthy food. So, Om Udbuddha Swagne Pratijagrahi Tvamistha Purte Sarvam Srijetamayancha Asmin Stadaste Adhuta Rasmin Vishve Deva Yajamanascha Sitata Om Ayant Ilmayatma Jata Vedastene Dasvarjasvache Vardayat Asman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Same Daya Swaha Idni Jatvese Kitannamam Om Samidha Agnim Duvasya Vritairabodayatatitim Asmin Havya Juhotara Susamidhaya Shochishe Gritam Tivram Juhotara Agdaye Jat Ved Se Swaha Jat Se Kitannamam. Third one. Om Tam Vasamidhiran Hiro Jena Vardhayamasi Priyacho Chaya Vishtaya Swaha Agni Jate Se Kitannamam. Now you have to speak. Om Ayanta Idmaya Atma Jata Vedastene Dasvavarjasva Cheda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Samedhaya Swaha Idmi Jate Se Kitannamam. Om Ayanta Idmayatma Jat Vedastene Dasvavarjasvacheda Vardhaya Tasman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Samedhaya Swaha Idmi Jatve Se Kitannamam. Om Ayanta Idmayatma Jata Vedastene Dasvavarjasvacheda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Samedhaya Swaha Agni Jatve Se Kitannamam. Om Ayanta Idmayatma Jata Vedastene Dasvavarjasvacheda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Samedhaya Swaha Idme Jatve Se Kitannamam. Unconditional I offer this oblation to you. Om Ayanta Idmayatma Jata Vedastene Dasvavarjasvacheda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubir Brahma Varchase Nana Dhena Samedhaya Swaha Agni Jatve Se Kitannamam. Very significant mantra. We recite it 5 times. And I'll say, oh fire, burn it with radiance. And with what? Let us attain progeny, Vedic knowledge, material wealth, and also the capacity to enjoy this material wealth by following the path of righteousness. and also give us spiritual wealth as well. So now I will do with water, and first we'll do in the east, then in the west, with water. East, west, north, and south. And we are doing those. So I will start with this. Om Adide Anumanasva. Om Anumade Anumanasva. Om Sarasde Anumanasva. Om Dev Savita Prasuvayajam Prasuvayajam Patim Bhagai Divyo Gandharvaha Ketapu Ketannaha Punatu Vachaspate Vachannaha Swadatu. So what these 4 mantras we are doing, and we are doing it with water, and we are saying, let our life be transparent and cool like water. And then we are saying, God, we are doing this deed, we are giving our final prayer service for peace to the departed soul. Let this prayer come true. And also give us the Vedic knowledge, give us the spiritual knowledge, so that we can accept the things in our lives. And finally, God, make us soft-spoken. I'm some days in the age, and I'm still trying to be soft-spoken. It is a great attribute that we need in our life. So this is what we are praying through. And let there be, my life be calm, quiet, and cool from the east, from the west, from the north, and from the south. And now we go back to keep. Om Agnai Swahai Mangai Danamam. Om Somai Swahai Dam Somai Danamam. Om Prajapate Swahai Dam Prajapate Danamam. Om Indrai Swahai Dam Indrai Danamam. Om Gunai Swahai Dam Gunai Danamam. Om Bhuvaive Swahai Dam Vaive Idanamam. Om Suradityai Swahai Dam Adityai Idanamam. Om Bhur Bhuva Swarajnivaya Vadityebhya Swahadamnivaya Vadityebhya Idanamam. We offer these oblations for our nourisher, our protector, our guide, and our sustainer. Now there is a mon for 10 seconds, mon ahuti for 10 seconds, whatever comes to in your thought process. For 10 seconds, think about it, and then silence for it. Then we will go through after 10 seconds. Oh. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Agni Ayushi Pavasya Asuvo Jamisham Chana Are Bhadasya Duchunam Swaha Yamni Pamanai Idanamam. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Agni Rishi Pavamana Panchajanya Purohita Tamimahe Mahagayam Swaha Yamni Pamanai Idanamam. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Agne Pavasa Swapa Asme Vacha Suviryam Dadadrayam Mai Posham Swaha Yamni Pamanai Idanamam. The gist of these mantras is, God, make us do good deeds in our lives. Purify us, purify our soul, and provide us splendor of energy and riches. And now we'll do the oblations for sun. We'll say sun god and Agni god. So with that, we'll do for sun. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Swaha. Om Suryo Vacho Jyotir Vacha Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Saturdevena Savitra Saturatrendra Vatyajushala Suryo Itu Swaha. And then the Agni. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotiragni Swaha. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotirvata Swaha. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotiragni Swaha. Om Sajurdevena Savitra Saturatrendra Vatyajushala Agnir Vetu Swaha. Om Gunaya Pranaya Swahaya Gunaya Pranaya Idannamam. Om Bhuvaya Panaya Swahaya Vaya Panaya Idannamam. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swahaya Madhityaya Vyanaya Idannamam. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Swaragniva Bhuva Dityebhya Pranapan Vyanebhya Swahaya Ragniya Payavaram Dityebhya Vanamam Idannamam. Again, the gist in 3 lines is the God, these creative cosmic powers that you have restored upon us, the sun, the air, and the fire. We pray that let all these be favorable to us in our lives. They all be beneficial. Sun with 118 degrees temperature in Arizona can give strokes and extreme dehydration. We saw the effect of the air, the sandy, those who are from New Jersey, what impact it had. And finally, the fire, what can done or is doing, unfortunately, in the globe. So we are praying that let all these powers be favorable to humanity. Om Apo Jyoti Raso Amritam Brahma Bhutva Suram Soha. Om Yam Vedhande Vagina Utarasya Upasate Daya Mamati Medya Agni Medha Vinam Purusha. Let's keep the company of noble people. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Durita Diparasuva Yadvatram Kanna Asuva Swaha. Om Agnenaya Supatharaya Asman Vishwani Dev Bhava Yunani Vidwan Yuyo Dasvajuranameno Bhushthante Namastim Vidhe. And now Gayatri 3 times, and 3 times we will do Ahutis for Triambaka. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tasya Vidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tasya Vidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tasya Vidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Neva Bandhanan Mrityormukshya Amrata Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Neva Bandhanan Mrityormukshya Amrata Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanan Mrityormukshya. God, you control the universe. You are full of fragrance, emit that fragrance upon us. And as the fruit ripens, the branches, the fruit bends down, let our lives be as a metaphor. And let's keep on following the path of righteousness for whatever life we have. Ultimately, maybe God achieves salvation. And now we will have the and this is our final mantra in our Havan prayer service. And what we are saying through this mantra is, God, we are praying for this very specific occasion. And we are praying with complete devotion. Our hearts are pure. And while I'm conducting this prayer, I'm praying with pure faith, pure heart and devotion. But I might be making mistakes while I'm conducting this special prayer service. But please ignore my shortcomings, ignore my deficiencies. But I want that bless this prayer come true. So with that, we finish this prayer. Oh, yadasya karmana vatyaririjam yadva nyunam ihakaram agdishta swishta krit vidya sarvam swishtam suhutam karotu me agnaye swishta krite sahutahute sarva prayashchitahutinam kamanam samardaitre sarvana kamanam swishtikate idandam. Oh. And now we will do the Purna Huti, and that will culminate our this prayer service. So perhaps so you're saying, God, through this mantra, let prayer be complete, let prayer be what we are asking for, to give peace to the departed soul. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam. Om. That this prayer be true, that this prayer be complete. And now we will do some few we want to do 4 mantras with that. Om Pranaya Swahaya Pranaya Swaha. Om Vidyarthe Swahaya Prate. Om Chakti Swaha. Om Shrotaya Swaha. Om Krito Smar Swaha. if person manages it here, maybe we are done with that, but we can put it outside. We can say it's hard. Just for oh. Oh, these are from Scarbedes, all numbers from Vedas. Oh, the final oblations. Om Pranin Sadikaketum Swaha. Om Prithve Swaha, Agnaye Swaha, Om Antarakshaye Swaha, Vayve Swaha, Om Dive Swaha, Suryaye Swaha, Om Divya Swaha, Chandraye Swaha, Nakshatre Satsya Swaha, Adbhate Swaha, Varunaye Swaha, Nabhyam Swaha, Udaye Swaha, Vache Swaha, Pranaye Swaha, Pranaye Swaha, Chakshuse Swaha, Chakshusve Swaha, Dotaye Swaha, Shrotaye Swaha, Swaphakya Swaha, Lobhakya Swaha, Tve Swaha, Tve Swaha, Lohitam Swaha, Lohitam Swaha, Medobhya Swaha, Medobhya Swaha, Mang Sabhya Swaha, Mang Sabhya Swaha, Snavbhya Swaha, Snavbhya Swaha, Admatyam Swaha, Admatyam Swaha, Manjantam Swaha, Majjambhya Swaha, Retve Swaha, Paive Swaha, Ayaye Swaha, Pranaye Swaha, Uzaye Swaha, Tivayasaye Swaha, Udyasaye Swaha, Shuche Swaha, Shochase Swaha, Shochamanaye Swaha, Shokaye Swaha, Tapse Swaha, Tapasya Swaha, Tapyamanaye Swaha, Tapaye Swaha, Dharmaye Swaha, Nishkrute Swaha, Prayashkrute Swaha, Veshajaye Swaha, Yamaye Swaha, Antakaye Swaha, Mritue Swaha, Brahmane Swaha, Brahatyarchay Swaha, Vishevidubhya Swaha, Dhyava Prithvi Viva Swaha. Let it immerse wherever, in the sky, on the earth, or the ocean. And with that, now we can hold all the go. Oh. Yeah, let the grandchildren, just the family do it. Let this Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Please be seated. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. You just stay there. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Now this mantra is also from Yajurveda. It says Surya Chakshu Gachatu Vati Matma Dhyam Chah Gach Prithvim Cha Dharmana Apo Va Gach Yaviri Tatrate Hitamosh Shoshu Pratishtha Sharire Swaha. Oh, Somdevji, after your death, may the power of thy sight be absorbed in the sun, and may thy soul go to the atmosphere, and may thou go to the luminous region wherever it takes you there through your noble deeds. Oh, 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 Shanti. So please. Now, please, everybody, in a nice orderly fashion, you can come and pay your last tribute with some flower petals, and you can come in a row slowly. Please. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. Please, everyone.
If I could come and you could take the flower and offer to
The flowers. Say your homage and tribute. What do you like?
Yes, absolutely.
you are always with me. Every day. In the house. That's why so. I'm so sorry. Yes, I am.
This is for the speeches.
Angle it towards the podium? The front or the podium? Okay.
Please be seated. Soon, some people from the family would like to say some words and give their final tributes in their own words. So please.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay. There you go.
I'm Farah, proudly standing here. Sandeep's wife. I know I've met some of you. I haven't seen many of you for a very, very long time. We are so blessed to have friends and family, all of you here with us. Some of you have come from very nearby, others have come from far away. I know that all of your love and support has always meant and will always mean a tremendous amount to our family. Sanjay and I are the daughter-in-law, the son-in-law, and we were both just saying earlier how proud and how special we are to be part of this family and have to come into this family. My father-in-law was a very, very special human being. He embodied true spirit, humor, strength of character, and was steadfast in his support of all of us, along with Bob. And some of my earliest memories were of simple little things. You know, I'm just going to share a story. It's totally anecdotal, but it has stayed with me since the beginning of my marriage. Mom and Dad were coming to visit, and I said, okay, I'm going to do something special for him, and so I'm going to try to make samosas. And I worked really hard. I was not, I never cooked till I got married. I made these samosas, I brought them out, took one look at them, and he said, you know, you never have to do this for me again. It's okay, you're off the hook. It was, but that little humor, that little gesture just meant to me that he was accepting me for who I was. And he had that wonderful welcoming quality about him. Of course, I could share so many more stories, but I wanted to just really say what a wonderful father, grandfather to these amazing grandchildren, that he was such a big part of their lives for so many years, and they're truly blessed to have grown up with both their grandparents, and a wonderful and loyal companion to my mother-in-law and best friend. And so he will be tremendously missed in our lives.
So I'm Sanjay. I'm Sandy's husband. I think I've met all of you over the years, and as I was thinking of what to say about Dad, I mean, first thing came to me is I'm fortunate to have two dads. He treated me like his true son, and he unconditional love and support, and every time I called Dad, he would say, "How are you? Do you need anything?" And that's who he was, and I feel fortunate to have met Sandy because I got to meet Daddy, and he was everything to our kids, and he treated us so well, and he gave us such strength. I admire him for his courage and his strength and his love and his passion and his sense of humor. And you know, the story I have to tell is that when I first came to Mass College of Pharmacy, and I was moving into the dorms, and I came out, and there was this man surrounded by like 15 girls, and it was Sandy's dad, and he says, "Have you met my daughter? You have to meet my daughter. You should meet my daughter. You should." And I'm like, "Who's this man who's like so?" He obviously was fond of Sandy, but he was also a little bit of a flirt. He was a ladies' man, and he just had special character, and he never showed any pain, and he was the strongest person during this whole period of time in his life, and I believe he's given us tremendous strength, and we'll never forget his strength. I mean, it's going to live in all of us forever. So I really appreciate all of you being here. reading all the notes, it's just amazing what impact he's had on all the people he's touched, even if it was 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. Unbelievable. And yeah, I'm really happy you guys are all here and giving us your strength as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That voice was my dad's longest friend. He's sitting here up front. I'd like to acknowledge Praise Nanda for all the time he spent with my dad. He called my dad once a week to sing songs with him. As you know, my dad had difficulty with his speech, which was, for those of you who knew him in his prime, knew he was such a vibrant, energetic person, kind of the life of a party, liked to joke, had a lot of humor, and to lose that was very hard. We never complained. He took it with such grace. Dr. Krishanko, thank you for that, for those memories, and for we're very tear for that. My father, Songbe, is an amazing father, amazing grandfather, amazing husband, and a loyal, dedicated friend. He had a great life. He lived it to the fullest. He had an amazing journey. His story is something that I would like to share with you because he shared it with me when I was about 10 years old. We were going to India. My sister and my mother went ahead, and as often because I was ahead in school and we waited for the school vacation, he would take me. And those moments with my dad traveling back then to go to India was really, as many of you recall, a long process. You stopped in London, then you stopped in Frankfurt, then you stopped in Iran, and then you stopped in Pakistan, then you got to Delhi or something like that. So we had a lot of time together, and we had some great moments. And he told me the story of his family and the journey he had. I've always been inspired by it. He was born in the far northwest corner of British India, in an area called Dera Ghazi Khan, in a little village called Jaunpur, which was on the Afghan border. He used to remember the Kabulwalas come from Kabul and bring dates and almonds, and he used to love that as a child, and those were some of his favorite things all his life. In the sudden cataclysm of the partition, where so many families suffered, had a major impact on my father. He was 8 years old, and they had peasants with torches came and torched them out of their house, and they fled in the middle of the night with nothing. The whole family, they lived in my compound, and they were hid in the generational Muslim family next door to them, hid them, and saved them until the violence died down. Until then, the Gurkha soldiers that were hired by the Indian government could take my parents out. I'd take my dad out and my grandparents, and they all ended up in Punjab, India. We were Punjabis in Ludhiana, where one of my grandfather's brothers was the only one who was in India. He was a medical student at the Christian Medical College in Ludhiana, and he had a little dorm room 15 family members descended on that dorm, and they started a new life again. My dad, he told me he used to study by street lamp. He used to try to find wild bananas, and that's how he started with those beginnings. And he did a year of civil engineering at Punjab University and found a scholarship to Howard University, Washington, D.C., set up by Abraham Lincoln for freed slaves in this country. He came to an all-black university on scholarship here. He used to say, "I came to Howard, came to Howard." And this was in the late 50s, the peak of the civil rights movement when he came. America was going through a major turmoil, much like today. And at that time, many of you recall, India only allowed you to take $8 out. They were holding on to their foreign reserves. So he came to JFK Airport with $8, and had to get to Washington, D.C. Some nice consul put him on a bus to Philadelphia. Another consul put him on a bus to Washington, D.C. Someone helped him make a phone call. He sat in the bus terminal for a couple of hours. Big African-American man came and said, "You come with me." He took him to the university. He had $2 left in his pocket. He studied at Howard, and he got a job at a restaurant owned by a family, the Lida family, a good Christian family, that took my dad in and said, "You come stay with us. We don't have a son, we have 2 daughters." And they made my dad their son. My dad worked their way up in his restaurant, worked really hard at night. I have pictures of him as a busboy and then as the maitre d'. He had a tuxedo. It was a nice restaurant. He did that. Those people were my American grandparents. They came to my high school graduation. We went and visited them. We did Thanksgiving with them at a time where we couldn't, have our own grandparents from India here, and they raised him. This was just out of their heart that they wanted to help my dad, and that was the kind of guy my dad was. After finishing, he worked in Washington for a year in mechanical engineering, and then he went to Kansas, where he studied industrial engineering. And there, another family, the Jordan family, had a restaurant. And my dad was already experienced. They took him in, and then they took my dad in. They also only had one daughter. They took my dad in, and as it has it, their daughter fell in love with my dad. They wanted my mom told me this story. But my dad said, "No, my parents want something else from me, and I need to go back, but I need to be settled first." He was very firm about being able to provide. He was a provider his whole life, and so he went. But the Jordan family became our other grandparents, and we would go to see them for Christmas there. And Grandma Jordan used to give me trucks to play with when I was a kid, and make turkeys for us. And so these were the road trips we took growing up as kids. And they weren't alive by the time I got to high school, but they would have been there too. And it was really special. At my high school graduation, I had my Indian grandparents, my father's parents, my American parents, my grandparents there. And I say this, so my dad never had any hostilities towards anyone, and he loved all religions. He believed in it. He sent my sister and I to Sunday school when we were growing up, so that we would understand the people around us, the Christian families around us, and what they believed, because he saw good in everybody. He taught us that there is good in everybody, and you just have to find it. And that was the way he taught, and he was a very generous person. He loved people, and so then he got a job in IBM. Many of you here are former IBMers, and IBM was the greatest company of that time, and it was a big deal. And then he went to India, and he got a note from Shalini Auntie this morning. She told me that she was present when in Ljubljana, her grandmother's house, my mom was brought there, and said my mom looked so pretty, and my dad was just smitten, and fell in love right there. And then they were married. That was 1967. So then they started their life in Fishkill. And they made so many great friends, so many of who are here today. And by me living in Minnesota, I've not had the privilege or the warmth of your time with you, but believe me, that growing up in that community was amazing. Had a very large extended family. All the uncles and aunties who are here today, you guys were just so wonderful, and there was great friendship. I loved watching my parents laughing with you and hearing all of your laughs. I still hear them in my head today. So please know that you're a very special part of, and my dad loved you all, missed you. I love this badge. I used to remember, my dad, growing up, my dad had just a quiet way about him. He had incredible ambition, incredible work ethic. He only wanted the best for his children. His family was number one, and he put so much effort into us. He'd work all day, come back, and he would play with me, go out, and he would, make sure he sat down with me, listen to what I had to say. He was always present for that, and he was a great, great father. He's going to be greatly missed. My father, as many of you know, was afflicted with Parkinson's disease at a fairly young age, in his late 50s. And he took that diagnosis and never made it about himself. I have the privilege of being a physician that can take care of many, many people, see many people with ailments. And the grace that my father handled his disease with is unparalleled, really, and inspiring to me, because he never wanted to be a burden on anyone. He always worked up, even as his abilities continued to fail, he stayed strong. And my mother was unbelievable in their relationship. You could see true love. My mom kept him going, and he kept her going. At the end, he would fall. And my mom, you could see her face, because it's hard to watch someone you love fall. And he would always say, "I'm okay. Don't worry, I'm okay." And as he lost his speech, his eyes became even more expressive. I will miss that about my father. I would FaceTime him. He would just perk up and say, "Sonny," he would be so happy. And he loved his food. And if you gave him something he liked, I said, "Dad, how do you like it?" Great. He would just shake his head, and he would have this twinkle in his eyes, and he would be so expressive. And he went walking. 6 weeks ago, when my mom and dad reached out that things were getting a little tougher, I went down to bring them up, and we went for a 1.5 mile walk together. It was slower. But my dad lived the way he wanted to live, and he got on the plane, enthusiastic, come up here. So he lived really well. It was only a very, very small blip at the end of his life that became very difficult. And I'm so thankful. My sister was such a rock as my dad got sick. He had an infection at the end, and she kept him going. My dad had determination. Even as his lungs were failing, he opened his eyes. I was in Minnesota Thursday night Friday morning at 2 a.m. He opened his eyes, looked at me, gave me that gaze. The gaze was partly sad, but also at peace. He knew he was going, but he gave you that intent look that told me, I love you, son. And I told him that his legacy lives very strong in all his grandchildren, and me, my sister. And that legacy is one of generosity, humility, strength of character, someone who lived by principles his whole life. Someone who was determined to do anything it took. And with an unwavering care for his family. So I got so many incredible notes from people in the last 2 days. It's been amazing and uplifting and comforting. But how many people he's helped. As kids, we were growing up, you know, and we had people coming to our house that were, you know, in their maybe 20s, you know, and it was great for us. And I remember you guys, I remember your sister Andrew, you guys would come over, and for you were just playmates for me. We would hang out, we'd play games, we'd play football, we'd do other things, but, you know, the notes you sent about what my father was really doing for you and helping guide you, you know, meant a lot. That was the way my dad was, and I've gotten so many notes like that from so many different people. So it's, he was so proud that his daughter-in-law, my wife, was so proud of his son-in-law, Sanjay. He treated them equal to Sandy and I. He was so proud to have Sanjay's family here. What a wonderful family. Thank you all for being here. You guys have been, I mean, you have embraced me as a son, a brother, and I really, really, I'm so grateful for that. So thank you all for being here. It's really hard to say goodbye to my father. Really, really hard. I know he was ill, but you know, he always had a smile, and he really was caring till the very, very end. And I will forever be indebted to my father, and I will carry his being and who he was with me all my life. I don't know what the afterlife is. I hope that his soul is looking down on us, but what I do know is that his soul will live in me, and my children, and I will be a better person because of my father, and I actually feel motivated even stronger now to carry his legacy, to do those things that he did, any unfinished business that he had, make sure that his family stays the course, that I will love you to my last breath, and I will take over care of the family. Thank you. I'd like to call grandchildren. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Sean. You might know me, but I'm one of Nana's grandchildren. It's very hard to see him go. Everyone will speak. So, I know not many people get the chance to grow up with your grandparents or any grandparent, and I got the privilege to do so, and because one of the best things about my life And so I knew my Nana as a strong, energetic, and stylish man. So I know him as a strong man because of his 20-year battle with Parkinson's disease and how he never stopped fighting for the urge to live another day to the fullest of his ability. An example of his energetic personality is whenever I'd call him, or whenever anybody would call him, he'd have his eyes would light up. He'd be like, how are you doing? And then, like Sonny Mama said, he liked this food, and he always go, very good. And he was always ready when we play Rummy Cube. He always had fun. And I loved his stylish personality. So he always had a collared shirt on when I saw him, and all the pictures I saw of him, like around the house yesterday and today, he always had like a tuxedo on, and his hair is all fixed, and he looked like he could crack a nice joke. And yeah, I just knew my Nana as a strong man, and he had the greatest personality of anybody I knew, and I hope he can celebrate his life further on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Siona, the first and eldest grandchild. So I had a few extra of the good years with all the grandparents, but especially with my Dada and Bobby. I would spend my summers in Pennsylvania with Dada and Bobby, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it because I would look forward to my full dose of Hindi movies, watching home videos like Joe and Sanjay's every single time, and of course the best food. He would take me to places like Sesame Place and Sesame World, or I would run upstairs to his office and he'd play on his computer, even though he told me don't do that. It would just comfort me. I think the biggest part about my Dada's good years and his bad years and his hard years is that he never changed. He was such a gentle and warm grandfather to the five of us. What he did in his lifetime to build and support our family is probably inspirational, as my dad said, but just a story that will continue to motivate our every action. Next steps, I think. Most importantly is he raised my father, who is such a gentle and loving work and dedication to this family. I know we'll continue to make you proud for everything he does. We were always ready to take care of Dada, but he made sure he was taking care of that we were taken care of first. We never saw nor sensed his pain. And as Sean kind of mentioned, he had those key expressions that we were all just reminiscing over in the car ride here. At the dinner table, he would always pass the bowl of food towards you because he got to enjoy that food every day, but when we came, it was a special occasion. He always had the biggest and most satisfied smile after a meal, no matter how spicy it was, and if he was shedding a few tears just to make it through the dish. Or even that other expression where he just kind of waved his head. You know, he was a little guilty because he did something that he wasn't supposed to, like sneak a bite of chocolate or hide the extra pieces for Rummy Cube. Because he won. He always wanted to win. And I guess lastly, it's just the wave that he used to make. It was kind of up and down, and it always meant he's okay or come sit with us. And then just stay there and sit with me. Hold my hand tight, which is one of the last few things I got to experience with him. That's really hard because we get by you. as my dad mentioned, his eyes were so bright. I'm so proud that he got to see four of his 5 grandchildren pursue the path of education that he came to this country for. We will do our best, to speak for all 5 of us, to make him proud. I know that he's with us always. We love him.
Hi everyone, I'm Rahul. Grandson as well. Dear Dada, thank you. Thank you for showing me resilience, selflessness, and the importance of family. Resilience. Growing up, my sisters couldn't wait for the times you and Dada came to town. Unlimited Papa John's, and the sausage and green pepper pizza that became infamous at Ayana's graduation party a few weeks ago. I'll never forget our bike rides to Braemar Golf Course. Each time you bought me a bag of Cheetos. You taught me how to ride a bike, and we would play catch outside. While I was too young to understand what was happening, I knew you were struggling, even though you never told me you were. Each year, the throw would be weaker until there became a point where I was reteaching you how to throw a ball, underhand this time. Still, you tried. You'd sit out there with me for hours. You'd chase after the ball, sometimes falling, so we could keep playing, no matter how tired you get. Even though the distance between each throw decreased, your will to be the best grandfather possible remained the same. Selflessness. We heard your stories growing up. We heard about the sacrifices you made. You never made us feel like we owed you for that. You were so invested in our success that I never got the chance to say thank you for where I am today. You raised my dad with the same philosophy he raised me. You always wanted Dad to have a better life than you did. Everyone has something that drives them. Yours was seeing others prosper and be happy. You always put others first all the way until the end. I'll never forget the time you fell off your bike on the way home. You were bleeding. But you insisted that I stay in front of you in case something happened to me. Even when you were down, you managed a way to keep others up. Family. You would do anything to make sure my sisters, my cousins, my aunt and uncle, my daddy and my parents would have the best life. You would always ask me how my studies were. There were a few things in my life that were better than seeing your face when you were proud of me. Dada, when I graduate next year from college, no, I'll be imagining your smile and your tight embrace wearing your Cornell hat. It did always matter about the grades. Daddy, their importance, but you cared more that I was passionate about what I was doing. You wanted nothing for your family to be together and be prosperous. Dada, we are because of you. On behalf of all of us cousins, Sienna, Serena, Sean, Ayana, and myself, thank you for being the best Dada we could ever ask for. Thank you for being a part of our lives and a part of our accomplishments. Thank you, Bobby, for taking care of him so he could always be with us in the special moments of our lives. Dada, I carry your name with me for the rest of my life. I would try my hardest to follow the principles and the values that you live by. I will tell my kids and my grandkids about the sacrifices you made for our family. And I can only hope that one day I will be the man that you were. I love you, I miss you, and for the rest of my life, I am eternally proud to be Rahul's son, Dave. Thank you.
Outpour of love and affection towards my dad. I tell my kids daily how I have the best childhood, and when I reflect on why, it's because my dad was determined to live life to the fullest, the full American dream. And he
he wanted to ensure that we benefited from his love and desire for adventure and exploration. He was a confident man. He was never influenced by others. When he had a plan, he was going to execute. Don't tell him otherwise. He never deviated from his values and his priorities. He was very clear on that, and he was very clear with us. And he showed unwavering strength and courage right until the end. Daddy lived every day with purpose and thoughtful planning, but most of all, he lived in the present. There was never a moment that he was distracted when I was talking to him. Even till the end, he always had that smile, the intention, the engagement of his eyes, that you know that he was listening to every word we said. My dad and I had a soft spot for one another. While he was a very strict father, setting clear rules, his firm approach taught me discipline and probably kept me out of trouble more than I had already gotten into. On one hand, he would set my high school curfew at 9:30 p.m., well knowing that parties don't start until 9. Yet on the other hand, he drove me and introduced me to the Woodbury Commons, where he happily bought me my first designer Gucci bag, an interest I feel obliged to carry on. My father never said no to me. Instead, he truly spoiled me in many different ways, selfless and with full heart. I'm so happy to be Daddy's little girl. My brother was very studious and very focused. I had other interests and plans, but true to my father, he treated everyone individually. He never compared me to my brother. In fact, he thought my creativity, my interests were just as good or even better than how my brother approached his childhood. That was his confidence. He really felt that you be secure with who you are, and life will steer you in the right direction. As many had already said, my dad was a man of understated style. He always was well-groomed and dressed, and would expected us to be the same. But it was his radiant smile and expressive eyes that made us all melt. And while we were thinking about this today, we had toyed about wearing his favorite Lululemon outfit, because again, that's my dad's style. Despite his diagnosis at an early age, he never let my mom or Sonny and I feel his pain. He continued to move forward, always ready to go. My dad couldn't sit in one place for more than a few minutes. And so if anybody came to him, whether he could get up or he was having a bad day, he still tried to get up. He continued to move forward through living his life as if he was never diagnosed. True courage and true strength. His greatest lesson to us was to be present, live for today, and do so in a very humble nature. Self-security in who you are, eliminating the need to compare yourself. Do what you think is right, and everything else will fall in place. He valued friendships. Oh my, he valued friendships. Loyalty. He was always there for anybody. And I appreciate those for all of you who are there for him. He told me, give more than you receive. This is something we will try to live by every day. I feel so blessed. In the last hours of our time with my dad, my mom told me that his passions will continue in me. His love for morning walks, and as all my friends from Shady Brook Lane know, I will continue those with speed, so welcome to join me. His love for gourmet food and cherished friendships. We learned about the importance of family. We were an intimate family of 4 before Sonny and I were married. And that, even though we were a small family of 4, he never make us feel that we didn't have a big family. And he taught us sibling bonds. My brother and I are 5 years apart, female and male, but yet he would make sure that we had this closeness and the respect for one another. I feel so blessed to spend the last 24 hours with my father, holding his hands until the very last second of his passing.
were very thankful to me. He kept on holding my hand. He embraced me with our hands. And while I would like to believe I was consoling him, it's so not true. He truly was consoling me right to the end. His courage and strength and endearing love. I love you, Daddy, and will miss you so, so much. Your smile is just breathtaking, and it will continue in my heart forever. I would like to invite my father-in-law, Sundar Zaveri, to come up and say a few words on behalf of the Zaveri family.
Hello. My journey began with Som and his family around 23 years ago when we were introduced for Sanjay and our daughter-in-law Sangeeta, my daughter, and what an experience we have gone through our life. The first time I met Som and his family, and right from there, he was always smiling. You can read his face, eyes, and smile, and you can see how happy and he was enjoying to embrace us. And my journey began with them, if I remember correctly, from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he came to the airport and picked us up, and you can see the smile. You can see how he feels. It was the happiest beginning we had right from the day one. And thereafter, we used to meet him like Sandeep said, like all of you are saying, he was the warmest person you can meet. And for me, he was the greatest friend also, because a lot of my hobbies, my thinking were matching with his thinking. So we were able to talk like a friend. And we will talk a common subject, family. And the very important, I used to enjoy traveling, I still enjoy. And he also used same thing. So he used to give me all kinds of ideas and suggestions. And somehow or other he used to do real research, or somehow or other he used to pick up and will show me, oh, this is the best thing and this is the best discount, you will never get anything. And he was always right. My other hobby interest was real estate. He knew more than I did. So we became very common in this. Third thing, you can visit him. He will fill you with the food, drinks, whatever. He will not let you go. My other experience has been, like the family says, love walking. And he used to walk with me, unfortunately with the awful disease he had. Sometime he will just walking with me and he will just stop. And I used to get scared. Okay, so he said, don't worry, just give me a kick. Once you give him a kick, he will walk like a Milkha Singh. You can't stop him. And he can walk faster than me, even though and he was steadily walking, running around. I said, you will be tired, let's go back. He said, no, I'm fine. Because once he got that walk going, you can't stop him. You cannot stop him. So this is the kind of person Saul was. We had a lot of gain. The last thing I saw him in Florida. And we went to see him. He was lying down, unfortunately with this awful disease. He was lying down in a tough time. But as soon as we entered, you will not believe. You will never think he had this issue. He came and got up and jumped and embraced me like a true friend meeting together. And he would not leave me. And he was such a lovely person, and joining and giving you such a lovely hug that you feel that you are right to another family. So our association with them through Sanjay, we gain a friend, we gain a great family. We had a great fun together, right? Started from Harrisburg to Connecticut to Pennsylvania to Florida. We have been always together, and I'm always going to miss him and his warmth, his love. I was always going to stay with us, and his family values. This is so important to me, as important to him. That family is the most important thing, and I'm very grateful to the God that I got. Lastly, I definitely want to tell you, yesterday was Father's Day, and I was remembering my father. With when I was remembering my father, my mother used to teach me a lot of Gita, Shloka and all that. And I had a very hard time as a child to learn all that. And my father called me and he says, if you can't remember all these slokas, remember one mantra. And if you remember this one mantra, it's covered all the sloka. And when I met him, he was also fond of the same thing. So with remembering my father, I was remembering him so much because he always said, Om Bhur Bhurashva Tat Savitur Varenyam. That was his favorite thing. And my father also taught me the same thing, that if you don't remember everything, at least remember this one. This is mantra's mantra, the Gayatri mantra. So I always will remember him, and God bless him, the family. Thank you so much for being a good friend.
I'd like to invite my dad's long-standing friend and eventually real estate business partner. They had a lot of fun experiences, and I think Naresh Shah.
It's an honor to share cherished memories with Som. Som was introduced to me by Brij Bhushan, who is here also. In 1974, I moved from IBM Antico to IBM Fisher. So after that introduction, we became friends, and eventually we ended up working in the same department. Okay? And he was a good mentor for me, so that's another thing happened. So as a result, what happened was we got bonded together quite a bit. And we used to go for walking every day at lunch hour. Few of us, we're talking about walking, we have worked together for so many years together, lunch hour without fail, you know. So as a result of the bonding, we eventually ended up putting money in real estate. He was a very business astute, like he said. He was very good at that, even though he is simple-minded and humble, but business-wise, he was very astute as to what's the best thing to do when to invest. So we did an investment plan. Now socially at parties, it was a pleasure to have him around, and entertain friends by his humorous gestures and actions. That's another thing which he had, is patented. However, we kept in touch regularly after he left Fishkill, even though we were away location-wise, but we kept in touch by telephone calls or visiting frequently. And my wife, Vila, is very much liking about his compassionate nature and free spirit in behavior. He was very free with anybody, most innocently, but very, very like warm and loving, you know. So I'm going to miss him, we are going to miss him. And one sentence I would say, Song was practicing simple living and high thinking. That's mine.
Thank you.
You recall the video of my dad singing with his dearest friend, Harish Uncle. They had been in school together in India, came here together to the US, and we have spent so many years, wonderful years, together in summers, weekends,
Disney World.
Disney, Canada, so many trips. And it is true, Harish Uncle, during this time, my dad's hardest years, without fail, every day, called my dad for 20 minutes, and they sang beautiful Bollywood songs, Gayatri Mantra, all ghazals, Jagjit Singh ghazals, without fail. He visited my dad often in Florida, took him for walks, tried to take him to the gym, tried to keep up with him, and really just was the most endearing friend to my father. On his behalf, their loyalty and their friendship has truly continued on. As my dearest friend, will speak on behalf of the Tanda family. Sati.
For those who don't know me, my name is Sapna Thakur. I am the daughter of Harish Tanda and my mother, Nirja Tanda. My fondest memory was, I'll never forget, I was 7 years old and we were watching a movie called Guide. And I turned over and I'm looking at my father, I'm looking at my mother, and I go, is that for real? Like they're just lying to me? Somdev uncle, but we have a movie star in our family who hangs out with us. So I went to Somdev uncle one day and I said, are you Devana? And he goes, yes, Sapi. And a lot of girls like me. That confusion went down until I was about 15. And then I realized that's not true. As children, we learn from our parents, we learn from elders, and there was a lot to take away from Somdev uncle. And there are three main things that I can take away from him, and three things was love, courage, and friendship. As you can see, all the love that's here with everyone who's come from such a long distance to be here to celebrate Somdev uncle's life. He loved his family, unconditional love for Vinanti, his children, grandchildren, his friends, his food. I mean, that was a big part of his life, and you know, nothing would make me so. I remember my mother used to get angry at my dad. Somdev uncle is so witty when it comes to real estate and investment. What are you doing? Engineering is not enough. Get into real estate with him. And, you know, so we used to learn a lot of the business aspect from Somdev uncle as well. Courage. You know, Somdev uncle has been suffering from Parkinson's disease for 20 years. And I recall he came to my house for dinner, you know, not long ago. And he was in the car with me, and I said, Somdev uncle, I go, I'm just going to get out of the car. I'm going to come to the passenger seat, and I'm going to walk you upstairs. And he took his little dunda that he had, and he was walking, he goes, yeah. So I waddled myself out of my car, went through the back seat, and I see the doors open. I'm like, oh, so nice. So they'll open the door for me to help him out. I look in the back, he's gone. I'm like, where did he go? And Vinanti, like, screaming from the back, he ran ahead. And I'm running after, I'm like, I can't even catch up with him. Such a strong, powerful mind. His mind was way ahead of himself, you know, even overtaking his body. Even though his body was telling him one thing, his mind was so focused and he was so strong to move forward. So I really just hats off to all the courage that he had with such a difficult disease that he was suffering through for the past 20 years. Lastly, my Somdev uncle is friendship. You know, was friends with my father since 1952. They've been best friends for 69 years. That friendship trickled down to the different generations. I mean, husband and wives. My mother and some of their uncle became very good friends. Lena auntie and my dad became very good friends. Sandy and I have become inseparable. As Sandy was mentioning, every single day, I would speak to my dad, and he goes, "I have to go. I'm going to go sing songs with Soul now." And they would sing songs together. And the last day, 6 years ago, before my mom passed, she wasn't saying much, but she heard that Som de Uncle and Vinaki were coming to visit. And I was sitting with my mother on her last day, and she said, she goes, "Som is coming. Can you go pick up some samosas and chocolate?" And I didn't hear from her for like 3 hours prior to that. I go, I'm in New York City. There's no place for samosa and chocolate. But she goes, "He's gonna want to eat." God has taken on another angel under his wing. I can tell you right now, I guarantee you, my mother and Somdev uncle are laughing. She's doing gidda, he's doing bagra. And they're having chaat papri and samosa as they're looking at us, celebrating Som uncle's life. Thanks.
On behalf of my mom's family, I'd like to invite Shanti to come up and say a few words. Shanti is my mom's cousin sister who's lived in Connecticut. My mom spends many hours with Shanti. She's trying to continue the legacy of real estate.
I'm Sunila Kapoor and I'm Dina's cousin. Our fathers were brothers. And I didn't attend the wedding because it was done so fast within a week. And we were in Bombay at that time and we couldn't get there. But my mother was very involved in it, and when I talked to her after that, she had some very good things to say about Som at that time. And when we moved to the States, of course we met them, they were already here. My husband had already met them and had spent some time with them. And they were in Fishkill and we were in New Jersey earlier, and then we moved to Connecticut. And as I came to know him, I realized how strong a man he was and a very special person. And as the years went by, I realized that he was a very disciplined man, very strong-willed, and very positive thinking. And I thought, what a lucky girl she is to have met and married somebody like him. So we became very close when they moved to Connecticut, to the same town where I still live. And then they moved away a few times, and then they were as I remember, they were in Minneapolis for a few months or something, and he kept calling me, "You have to come, you have to come." He was extremely hospitable, and I went there and he just wanted me to see the whole town, the restaurants, the casino, and whatever he could do. So I must say that I have very good memories of him, and we'll all miss him very much. And you don't want a day like this to come, though you know one day it's going to come. But one can never prepare oneself. So we have, my family and I have very happy memories of him, and we were all very fond of him. And as we say, farewell to him today.
Thank you.
Function.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to also call up my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, Sandeep and Smita, to say a few words.
so many of the things that I've been thinking about dear Som Uncle. We met Som Uncle about 23 years ago when Sanjay and Sandy got married. And I have to tell you, when we joined as families, it was like that from day one. I mean, Ina, Auntie, and Som Uncle, they embraced us with so much love and so much affection. And it was from that start that we developed such a close bond so early on that we spent so many wonderful years. I've been reflecting back all the wonderful holidays, Diwali and Thanksgivings, and it was always like we were always part of our original family. We always just spent so many wonderful times together, and I was thinking about some of the main things of Som Uncle, and one that really resonates and really I think about him is that his smile. I know everyone has said that Som Uncle smiled. His smile was so contagious that I think when he walked in a room, he just brightened that room. And he always made you smile back. You just couldn't help not to smile. His positivity, the way that he would come in, and his just, he was always happy. I always seen him, even after all these years and everything that he's gone through, I feel like every moment that I remember of him has always been his smile and his happiness, that you automatically just felt happy around him. He just had that way about him. I feel that he also had such a zest for life. I feel when we first, when Sanjay and Sandy got engaged and we had a Havan at the house to celebrate their engagement, and I'll never forget, we were all sitting and performing the Havan, and I don't think we had even quite finished the Havan, and next thing I know, Som Uncle was up and ready to dance and celebrate, and he was encouraging everyone. I think he was the first one to just literally stand up and just start. I think we have pictures of Sanjay and all of us to celebrate, and I feel that just that his vibrancy, his energy, just from those memories, I'll never forget, because he really he really had just so much love and so much affection and so much energy. And I know when he started to dance that day, I know in just all these years, seeing him in all our celebrations, it's not a celebration unless you're dancing. I mean, he was always, I feel, just the life of the party, because he would always say, you know, if it's a party, we're gonna dance. We're just gonna dance, we have to. But I think in all these years of seeing Som Uncle, I've seen such determination, so much positive in him, so much love, so much affection. He always has put family first, and I will never forget that about him. He's just been an inspiration to all of us, especially with everything that he's gone through all these years. I've never seen him complain. I've always seen him happy. His eyes would always just tell me his happiness. When we got to see him in the hospital, just last week actually, Samir, my husband and I, we walked in the room and we weren't sure what to expect, you know, and we walked in and he immediately, I think he wanted to just give us a hug. I mean, he came out, he put his hands out for us. He showed so much through his eyes. He actually, I felt like he just wanted to get up and hug us, and he was literally ready to get up. That energy that everybody has been talking about, we saw that, and I really just
I can't say enough how much he's been an inspiration, all that he's done, all that he's been through. I will surely miss him so much. He's been a part of all our family, all our events, and we will really, really, really miss him. We love him very much. I will always remember all the happy times with him and all the love that he's always shared for all of our family.
I'm Sandeep Zaveri. I'm Sanjay's brother, and Sandy's my sister-in-law. When I think of some uncle, I think of humor. I think of jokes. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a bit of humor with you, because that's what I think of. I think of some uncle. So, I want to say that my first really fun memory, there were many, but Sanjay came and told me, he's like, how would you like to go to Harrisburg with me? And he's like, and you can meet Sandy and Sandy's family. I said, sure, this is cool, let's do this. And we got on a little propeller plane to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we came to Som Uncle Vinati's house, and honestly, it felt like I was going to be the future son-in-law. And he was smart. He knew what I wanted, which was at that time lots of good food, kebabs, and probably beer. But he made sure I had it, and and Sonny, I know this is, you get this, and Sandy, you get this from your dad. He didn't want to talk to you about himself. He wanted to hear about you. What's going on? How's school? Have another beer. And he was always interested in what you were doing. And I thought, this is fantastic. This is Sanjay lucked out. What a great family. And they got married, and as you remember, on the dance floor, there was tons of dancing and fun. And so Uncle, he's, I would agree with Sean. He was a stylish, dare I say, a very handsome man. And he had a great time. And he knew exactly what he's doing with his conversations, moving from table to table and really taking it all in. And after all that, I think our relationship became a little bit more about business. It was, instead of him asking me what's going on, he had three things that we would always talk about. We spent a lot of time, and I'll tell you the third reason why we spent a lot of time together. But the first thing was, he was always wondering, you got a girlfriend? What's going on? Do you need some help? Can I help you? What do you need? Can you do this yourself? Do you even know how to do this? And there were numerous conversations of him. He's like, if you need, I can get you pictures, whatever you need. And have another beer. And it was great conversations like that. And then he was, as you are aware, he's very into real estate. And he was always wondering, he always wanted to make sure I was in real estate. So after the conversations about girlfriends, we moved to the next topic, which was real estate. Where are you gonna buy your next house? It was all about Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. You gotta move to Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Help me, let me help you. We'll be partners. He used to always say, we'll have a partnership, we'll buy condos all over Philadelphia. And those were the two major subjects for a while. And then, and the reason why we talk so much is because I did spend a fair amount of time at his house in Pennsylvania. Another thing that Som Uncle really loved is technology. And he really loved this laptop. And I was his computer guy. And you can even ask Nithya, my wife, about sometimes I would spend whole evenings there. And he knew exactly how to get me. He would say, come up, get some kebabs. And by then I transferred over from beer to scotch. So we'll have a drink together. We like Johnny Walker Black. And he'd bring me up, and I would spend at least 5 or 6 hours in the secret room above the garage working on that laptop. and then I would come down for a break, we'd have dinner, and I'd be back up there in the evening. But there were long conversations with Som Uncle, and he and I would talk about all kinds of topics. Again, you know, he always wanted to know what I was doing. It was never about him. He just wanted to know what I was up to and asked me all kinds of questions. And I really enjoyed all those talks. You know, I'm gonna miss his humor and his wit and just the drive. You know, I felt that, you know, again, he was another one of, he was a dad to me too. And I had to make sure my stuff was ready before I sat down with him, because I had to be ready for those questions about girlfriends and real estate and what his latest issue is with his laptop. And I was reading a couple of our emails back and forth today, and you know what, when he asked, I made sure I went. Even when we decided to get rid of this laptop, he said, "Are you gonna fix my laptop?" And I would call Sandy. I said, "I thought we made an agreement." I was going away. But it was a great time. And like I said, and you've heard it today, he was very witty, very funny, very compassionate, and I can see it in you, Sonny, and I can see it in you, Sandy, that those amazing traits are now passed on to you, and I know your kids have them, and it's gonna, as they get older, you're gonna start seeing Som, Uncle, and your grandkids too, and I'm gonna miss him, and he, well, and to you, what you said, Sonny, is I'm gonna try to think about things that he did that I want to start doing as well. And he'll be missed, and we love him. Thank you.
कंप्यूटर पे मुझे प्रॉब्लम कल स्वामी होते हो फोटो करी चली
Oh my God. I don't believe. As I thought I will say some few wholesome scriptures for the spiritual domain, and here I'm listening, and I'm so touched, and I'm so moved. I don't know where to start and where to end before I do some slokas and explain the meaning of those. So let me have the liberty to share so much, and I hope we have few extra minutes to do. We have so much similarity that I'll share. But I'm touched and moved with Cindy, your tribute, and then your tribute, and the tribute from the grandchildren. It is so touching, it's so moving. And that's what, as I'm listening, I'm scribbling, so I guess I have to read my notes on that. As a medical director at Novartis, I was involved to launch CompTan to treat Parkinson's disease, and I know it can help to some extent, but finally, I guess this brave soldier, this resilient man, he just said goodbye to the world. I'm also blessed with a great wife for more than 50 years. And have loving 4 grandchildren, 2 granddaughters and 2 grandsons, and I'm attending the graduation of my oldest child on Wednesday in Long Island. I'm 82 years, same age as Somadeji, and as love dancing. Still, I get on the floor and I dance like hell. And I also, as I just heard, I also like good Scotch. Scotch. So with that, I would share some similarities. Our similarities are so close, it's again it's unbelievable. I was also born in 1929 in Lahore, which is now West Pakistan. Our family also came as refugees after the partitions and settled in Jalandhar. Eventually, my father built a house in Chandigarh and settled there. I also came to the US in 1967 when we got married. And I went to University of Iowa Medical School and in studying pharmacology and immunology there, and got a PhD. Went to Stone as a postdoc fellow in ecology. My father had died of pancreatic cancer, so I thought I wanted to pursue that area. And did well, and then moved to the corporate world as medical director with Novartis, and then retired from Sanofi Synthological, a French company. So I'm giving you my resume, but I don't need any job anymore. The thing is that it's so much in common that how, I'm meeting here and experience these similarities. Like Somdevji, I enjoy good food and do meditative walking. I'm also crazy about walking. I do every day meditative walking with Gayatri for 3 miles. And that is my spiritual strength. It gives me spiritual strength. So what a journey. So much similarity. And but the big difference is that Shri Somdevji is on his heavenly abode this morning. And I am praying for the peace to the departed soul. I guess it was meant to be that way. I guess. And I wish I could have met him. Maybe I don't know, I'm not sure. When I was working, I worked at Memorial for 10 years. And then I was on the staff. And we lived in New Rochelle, and I'm listening to Fishkill and IBM, and I think maybe we might have met in a party with some scotch, and Nagrats were there, friends, Gandhis were there, friends in the idea, but I don't know, maybe, but anyway, I have this privilege to get to know about this departed soul so much. So let me turn the gear a little bit and come to the spiritual world. All scriptures, starting from the Vedas, provide us the message of what is life and death. Through the readings of chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, we need to see God, surrender to God, take refuge in God, submit all our good actions to God, which enable us to lead a spiritual life and understand the will of God about birth and death. Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that one must yield without reservation everything to God. God's will must be done. In chapter 2, Lord Krishna says, that Arjun, birth and death are only of the body and not of the soul. Our body is perishable while the soul cannot be destroyed. These teachings are well explained in a couple of shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. Nanam chindanti shastrani nanam jahati pavika na chainam kaleti na shoshyati maruta. Atma is a migration of soul from the body to another. It never dies. It cannot be destroyed by weapons or by fire. It can neither be drenched with water nor dried by powerful winds. Another mantra is na jayate mrityeva kadatin na bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nityam shishotram purano panyamani sharire. Soul is never born or die. It is unborn, ancient, and eternal. Keeping that in mind, we must accept the will of God. Gita also says, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihai namani kirtani naro aprani tatha sharirne vihai jirnai nyati sanjani navni dehite. As a person wears new clothes after shedding the old ones, the soul gets a new body after shedding off the old ones. From this statement of Gita, it is certain that death is inevitable. It is mentioned in Ishopanishad that Ayurani lambrita pattedam bhasmantam gvam shariram om kritosmar kritam smar. Our soul is intransitive. The body is subject to destruction. We must watch our deeds to know which are righteous and which are wrong always. Remember God and let us realize God within ourselves. A mantra in Manuskriti also provides us with a similar message. Eka eva suddha dharmo nidhane apyanuyati yaha sharirena samam nasham sarva manyati gachati. Righteousness is the only one which goes with the soul. Everything else perishes with the body. Rig Veda states, Om Sanghachasva Pitrabhi Siyame Nishtha Purten Parame Vyoman Hitvaya Vam Punarstha Vehi Sanghachasa Tanva Suvajaha. By the austerity and by good deeds you had performed, Mr. Somdevji, may you attain the bliss in heaven. And once again, may you come this world to do the noble deeds that you have done in your past life. Om Jatasya Dhruvo Dhruva Jana Mritya Cha Tasmada Pariyahi Arthena Tvam Shochitum Arhasi. Whosoever is born is certain to die. Who has died has to be born again. Therefore, we should not worry about that inevitable and accept it. Accept it. Now, I will recite few mantras from Bhagavad let me say some peaceful. But I would say a few peaceful mantras and Shanti prepared now. And these are from again Vedas. And it says, Om yena karmanya praso manishino yajya kridavanti vidate sudhira yadpuram yakshvanta prajanam tanme manashiv sankalpa. All rishis, munis and saints, they have been having a blissful life through the prayer, through meditation, and through love. So God inspired us to do the same so that we can also have a blissful and peaceful life. Om yajagrito dura mudeti daivam tada sutta sutta thayveti durangamam jyoti sham jyoti ekam tanme manah shiva sankalpamastu. God, we know that our mind is always active and mischievous at the day as well as the night time. God, provide us intelligence so that we can think auspicious during the day and the night and can have very peaceful. And then, as we say, final Shanti pass. And with that, I will say, Om Dhyav Shanti Antarisham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rava Shanti Roshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Om Shanno Deva Vishwadeva Bhavantu Shanno Saraswati Sadhi Virastu Shambhishacha Shamurapishacha Shanno Divya Parthiva Shanno Abhya. God, let all the good food give us peace. Let our spiritual and intellectual knowledge bring us peace. Let all the personifications of God bring us peace. Let the rishis, munis, saints, and swamis of the world bring us peace. Let the sky, the earth, and the oceans of the world bring us peace. O Almighty God, let there be peace throughout the world. Let there be peace within our environment. And let there be peace throughout the world. And let there be peace to our soul. And let there be peace to the departed soul. Om Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti,
Shanti.
Shanti.
My dad would be very pleased with the ceremony you did. He grew up in the Arya Samaj tradition. We found out today that the priest that my dad introduced us to and we grew up with taught us the Gayatri Mantra from a very young age. The Asarji was also doing that. So very, very pleased with the work. Thank you all. We're going to miss our father, and thank you for all the words of expression and love. My father would want you to remember him not this way. I'm going to play you a little video at our last big family vacation and then bid you goodbye as we have to take my father to his final resting. But thank you all for coming and we'll connect. Thank you again.
Yeah. Beloved family, friends, and loved ones, at this time the service here has concluded. At this point, we will be taking our beloved to the resting place, as being said. Those who don't return, we ask you to kindly make your way to your cars and be prepared to leave with the hearse. Thank you all. Shanti. Right near his feet. No, inside.
No.
Oh, that's right.
No, they put it, yeah, they put it. They push it out, you know. You might want to push it out.
Yeah, they will. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentlemen that are going to help us wheel the casket out to the hearse, if you could just kindly remain. Everybody else, if you could kindly go to your cars, because we need to get to the crematory as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
I'll get the other one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure. Which guy should go? Where should I go?
Sweet family, have a meeting account. Thank you.
Papers are up there with the flowers, just.
Okay.
Comes out good. There's a pen on top of it. Yeah.
That was my head. Casket out. Okay, just let us, just transfer the casket onto there.
Just give us one paperwork.
Oh, yeah, I've yeah. I'll wait for you. Ray is right down now.
You were able to take the pictures?
I'm sorry?
The pictures?
Yeah, you can take the pictures, but there's only one frame that you can't take. You gotta take the picture out of the frame, but I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
They'll tell you.
All right. Well, some of the frames are not ours.
Yeah. James, do you know which frame they're not allowed to take? Which frame? Yeah, I know, there's like a picture usually, and then
No,
Christine, one of the
Hold on, I think.
frames
they're
belong to
taking-
Christine.
Yeah, hold on one second. I believe that the one with his picture of him. Wherever.
those three are definitely yours. These three.
The white ones are definitely white. Yeah, this one, that one, and that one are definitely yours. So let me just double check on the brown one, and then, the one, actually.
Usually the one in the foyer is not theirs,
That's
right?
yours too, just the one in the foyer, but we'll give that back to you later.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
You wanna give us? Yeah, the three white and this one, the one in the foyer, we'll take the picture out of, we keep that one that stays in the foyer, and the other four are on yours. But we'll take the picture out and put it with the rest of the stuff.
Very easy to take the.
Yeah, we can take that, we can take all of them.
Let's take this one with him.
Okay, you want me to put it on the bottom above his feet?
That would be perfect.
Okay, any
Thank
other
you.
ones you wanna leave?
We'll leave those.
Okay.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, we're gonna get place for 1, 2, 3.
And you're gonna walk out with us. So, it's good enough there. Let me just find.
Everybody's walking out with us.
Oh. There's a bag here, there's a brown bag.
Probably one of the family members took it. We didn't touch anything.
All right, because I had that, what is,
I would ask the son or the daughter,
yeah,
because like I said, we didn't touch nothing.
Otherwise, you have any bag, anything I could put it in?
What?
That's all I need for it. I have to put it, any plastic bag, like I said.
You just need to take it out?
Yeah, just need a bag. Yeah, it's a orderly brown bag.
Let me see what we got.
Okay. Thank you.
What did you need?
No, it's just, I had a brown bag to put this,
This one?
yeah.
Okay, we go get you a bag right now.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, no problem.
He's coming with one. He's bringing one, yeah.
Good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Metal, right?
This thing, he wants this.
Yeah. Not the basket.
Yeah.
Just the basket, not the basket, right?
Yeah, no, the basket's ours, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you good. Thank you.
Got it? Okay, anybody gonna walk it out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to blow out the candles?
What, honey?
Do you want me to blow out the candles?
I don't know.
Just give us a couple minutes, we're almost done. Yeah, you can go them out now, that's fine. Go on.
Oh, wow. Maybe I'll open out during this.
What's the name of that sushi?
That's fine, yeah, sometimes they do.
John Ganga.
Ganga.
Gang.
The daddy taking a ganga. Go that chair, and then another one like over there, they go right between, right in front of the conference room. Why don't you start moving them? This chair and that one over there.
Yeah, where do all
Yeah.
these chairs go?
You can leave on next, you can leave on next.
Those side chairs?
That goes back in the lobby. This footstool goes back in, outside the office. Where are they? I'm getting it.
This chair. Help me with this chair. Joe?
What are you gonna do?
I just need to take it
I said, does this come with health benefits, man?
You know me, I'm on back of the house kind of guy.
Oh, I hear you.
I only come out for brief appearances, so this is a long day for me.
I hear you, man.
That's why I just.
Yeah.
Oh, shh. That's on.
No, just because the camera's on, so that's what he said. I'm gonna have you pick up the tripod and you're gonna follow us with the cash. Okay? You're just gonna look through there and just follow us all the way out, alright?
Okay.
You don't have to pick it up here. Everybody ready? Just leave it right there.
Where's the
He's good.
Oh,
That's why he's.
Come this way, come this way.
Yeah, you know.
Because you want to be up in front of them. So as they move. No.
Just take it back.
Hold it like this. Okay. Don't be so clumsy.
I'm trying not to. It's hard with the tripod though. Okay, it got it.
You hear everything you're saying. Nick, I got it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll give you a couple seconds to pull behind the hearse and we'll go nice and slow.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.